March 24th. I'm actually recording this the evening before. We just a couple hours ago got word from the mayor of Denver that we are, as of 5 o'clock today, going to be under the new stay-at-home ordinance until April 10th. That means for the next 3 weeks, at least, at a minimum, going to be working from home. I made my final transition of packing stuff up at the office today, of coming home, sandwiching a little makeshift desk and items together between our two couches in our living room. And this now will be my office. It will be my meditative space. It will be my recording studio for the foreseeable future. Who would have imagined a month ago that that would be the case, and that this little nook, you can call it, in our house, which isn't very big to begin with, is now going to be my holy space, the place where I can come to be grounded and centered. And I've done my best with some imagery and some candles and different things to really make this space be mine for the next few weeks. I know as I asked yesterday about what your intention was going to be for the day, I got an email from Jan Ruiz, and she said her centering intention for the day was going to be joy. And she sent me a picture of a Christmas card that she said that she hung up in a bulletin board at her house, that now she can see the big J-O-Y, and that can remind her to look for joy in the different moments of each of these days going forward. I pray that you all will find either your space, your place that will be your ground, or perhaps a word or intention that then you can keep with you as you go forward. But these days ahead, they are likely to bring lots of different new experiences and lots of different emotions. And what I want to do today, as we spend a little bit of time together, is to remind you that whatever may be going on for you at this time, whatever you may be feeling, whether it is joy or whether it is the grief of change, that you know that God accepts all of you. That's one of the moments that we celebrate together very often as the church in the waters of our baptism. I encourage you, wherever you may be at your house, hit the little pause button on your screen, go find some water and get your fingers wet. We're physically distanced, so hopefully getting your hands wet won't be a problem. Don't do this to anybody else in your house, I guess. Get a little bit of water and make a cross on your forehead. It's right there. And remind yourself that God accepts all of you. God accepts you even if you're wearing your workout clothes. God accepts you even if your hair color may begin to show its natural color here in the weeks to come. God accepts your anxiety and worry. You don't have to dismiss it or fight to get rid of it. It's okay to say that that is how you feel. God accepts 50% of normal, that you don't have to be the perfect parent. You don't have to be the perfect pastor, as many of you have reminded me in these last few days. You don't have to be a perfect anything, that in these days, simply do your best to make it through each day and know that God accepts you with whatever moment, whatever feeling, whatever activity you may be in the midst of. And from that point, be reminded, as I often do with you all, with one more cross on your forehead, that God is creating you. That very often it is from the ashes of suffering that God creates new space and new ideas within our lives. That God's presence and God's Spirit goes to work from those places where we are suffering, and that it's only when we look back upon these difficult moments that then we can see what God was creating within us. And not just within ourselves, within our families, within our community, and within our world. So be reminded today that God accepts you wherever you are, and that God is creating you and God is creating us in this moment. I pray that this day may be full of grace for you, that you may be able to forgive yourself, that you may know that God forgives you completely, and that you may be able to extend a word of grace to the people in your lives, and that you can forgive them and unbind them to be whole, to be complete, as we accept one another in these times. May God's peace be with each of you. May you know God's grace today. See you tomorrow.